going to show you how to do a welt pocket for the Terra Tunic. This pocket is how I also do the welt pockets on the Sabrina Slims. You can also use this video for that pattern. Once you've got all your pattern pieces printed out, you should have the welt pocket bag. Cut 2 of those. You should have 2 of the welt pocket pieces themselves. This is what the welt pocket piece is, the print that you'll actually see on the outside. So you either want it to be matching or coordinating, because you'll see that. But the bag you won't see. And then you want to have your front, your tunic front cut out. And you also, at this point, use fusible interfacing on the welt pocket piece and draw in your line markings that are on the pocket piece themselves. I usually cut along the lines and then flip it back, place it over my pattern piece, and then just draw the lines in there to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so what we're going to do, I have my pattern piece laid on top of, let's see if you can see it better, on top of my tunic front. I did the same thing. I cut on the lines for the pocket placement and just flip it back so I can see. We're going to take our first welt pocket piece, not the bag, just the smaller piece, and we're going to line up our markings that we made on the wrong side to the markings on the front of the tunic. Now I'm going to kind of hold that down and then slip the pattern piece away so I know that it's placed right, and then I'm going to pin this in place. Now, if I were doing this, I would be doing the other side as well, but for this video, I'm just going to do one pocket at a time. So now I'm going to take my tunic front and I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to straight stitch the placement lines from, just the lines themselves, straight stitch. I've done my straight stitching on the lines. One thing to remember is to be sure you backstitch at the beginning and ending of your line, because you want that stitching secure. Now what you do is you want to draw a straight line through the middle of the stitching. You're just drawing it on with a fabric marker, or actually I stole these from my kids. These are Frixion pens, and they erase, and I think the heat of the iron takes away the ink too, so they're great for fabric marking. So what you're going to do is draw a line in between those 2 lines, and you're going to do like a Y. You're going to go in about 1/4 of an inch from each end, and then draw diagonal lines on each end, and then a line in between. Now we're going to cut the inside line with some sharp scissors. Okay, I've made my cut on the welt pocket piece. You see how I have cut the middle line, and I've also gone and cut the little Y piece we made. That. So now what we'll do is we'll put this welt pocket piece to the wrong side of the tunic top. Okay? We'll just straighten that out. And if your corners aren't exactly square, just gently tug the corners to release that strain right there. Now we're going to take this to our iron and iron that really well. 2 things that are important when making welt pockets: ironing and being exact with your cutting and your stitching. So don't skip on the ironing, you'll regret it. Okay, so now that our welt pocket piece is to the wrong side of the tunic, we need to iron it really well so our opening is nice and crisp. Make sure the corners are square. Alright, now we are going to take the bottom of the welt pocket piece, fold it all the way up to the stitching, iron that stitching line, Then take the piece that you just folded up, fold it halfway down so the crease hits right at the top of the opening. Iron that really well. Alright, so what that created, that fold, created the bit that we see from the front. Okay? So now, to secure that in place, we need to fold back the sides, and you see that little triangle bit that was from the Y we stitched and then cut. We're going to take this to the sewing machine, and on the welt pocket piece, not on the tunic, we're going to straight stitch that crease that the triangle creates, just right there in the crease from the triangle. Straight stitch right there. Okay, so you've done your straight stitching the triangle to the welt pocket piece. Just should look like that on both sides. That secures that fold we made in the previous step. So now we're going to sew our bag to the pocket. So you take your pocket bag piece, see it's a long rectangle. We're going to stitch or serge, either one is fine, the top to the top of the welt pocket piece, just that. Okay, so we have serged the top of our bag to the top of the welt piece. We're going to take the bag and we're going to fold it all the way down so it folds at that top stitching line we did back in the beginning. Press that really well. Press it so the seam allowance there on top is facing up. They'll give you less bulk. And then the seam allowance for the pocket piece, press it down. Okay. So you can see that. Now we're going to take the bottom of the pocket bag and we're going to serge or stitch it to the bottom of the pocket piece. So kind of just straight across there. Alright, so we've serged the bottom of the pocket bag to the bottom of the welt pocket piece. The top's already done. We are going to pull the bag, the bottom of the bag, which is not the bottom of the piece, it's made a fold there. So if you can see that, see how that works. So the fold is now at the bottom. Now press that really well. Last step, all you have to do is take this back to your serger or sewing machine and just straight stitch or serge each edge. Okay, so we have serged or straight stitched the sides of the pocket bag. Iron them again, just get rid of any waviness. And that is your welt pocket. That was really a lot easier than it probably you thought it would be, right? So here's what it looks like from the front. So you have the stripy piece, that is our welt pocket piece, and then if you look inside, if you can see it, inside you can see our mustard bag lining. So we have a complete pocket. Now if you wanted to top stitch around the opening, you totally can. Just keep in mind you are going to need to move the bag out of the way as you stitch around it, otherwise you're going to close your opening and you don't want that. So you would just like fold this up. I don't know if you might want to do it from the wrong side. I don't know. I don't generally top stitch around the welt pockets. Just a little too fussy for me, but you totally could. So, and there's your welt pocket on the Terra Tunic, and it also works for the Sabrina Slims. Same concept, Same steps. Hope that helped.